Alrighty. So, we all like RWBY enough.
Oof. Already adding the addendums.
Yeah. And the other day, Allison and I were sitting around, and I proposed the question to her of, if you were to make, like, a child team for Team RWBY, like, if Team RWBY grew up and had kids, and then their kids were in a team, what would they be? And then we talked about that for too long. And then we included Critter, like we texted her, and now here we are, because we all liked this concept as like an art challenge.
Yay!
Yes.
So now we're doing a share and tell of RWBY babies is what we're calling them.
Woo!
So yeah, this is just gonna be an art showcase, talking about characters and stuff. Get excited.
I
Put on
already
your
am.
seatbelts. Okay, so me first, because this is my channel, my idea. Okay, so this is the silhouette for their team. It's Team Aspen.
Ooh.
ASPN. The first two are twin sisters. They are the daughters of RWBY and Oscar.
Oh, the green makes sense now.
Just her openly favorite ship.
Then we're gonna jump to the last person in the line. That is the daughter of Yang and Blake. And then the one in purple is the son of Whitley and Marrow. Give me a second. Let me explain. So I was like, Weiss. Who do I ship Weiss with? And I realized literally nobody.
Really?
Weiss seems wholly, like, not necessarily asexual, but just completely uninterested in anybody. So I just shifted over to Whitley, and I don't know what made me pick Whitley and Marrow. I like Marrow, and that was it. So let's take a look at our first character. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the title character, Aspen Rose is her name, and here she is.
Baby.
Oh, look at
Oh, she's so
cute. Oh no, I love.
Yeah. She is #1 Ruby Rose fan. She loves her mom as much as RWBY loves like Summer, you know? Like she wants to be exactly like her mom. Which is why she's got the cape and the hood, which is also, I did not draw it here because I'm bad at drawing weapons. She uses a scythe, basically, exactly like Crescent Rose. So yeah, that's Aspen.
She's
I
so
love-
fucking cute.
I love those red gloves with the red like laces. Nice
Yes.
pop.
Thank you.
I like the gloves because, okay, she looks so much like RWBY, but elements of her design evoke Oscar, and those gloves do it the most. I also like the little suspenders.
Yeah, and then, so next is her sister. So this is Spring Rose. And here she is.
She's so cute!
Yeah, she's definitely a little, sassier than her sister. Less invested in kind of just like copying her parents. But if you pay attention, you'll notice she does have the classic RWBY hair fade to color.
Yes, looks great.
They both also have freckles, but she's just showing more skin so you can see more of her freckles. Bonus fact, if you pay attention to her sword, you'll notice that it's basically identical to the sword I gave to, so I did a drawn out a bit ago of the idea of a tie and crow child.
Yes.
And it's the exact same weapon, and it's really funny because I got a comment on that video mentioning how they wish that there had been a more interesting weapon. And this is just continued proof that I am bad at designing weapons. Stop fucking asking me to make a video about designing weapons.
Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses.
I figured Spring would use a sword like this because I wanted her to fight more like Oscar. And Oscar's cane kind of translate into sword. And I figured Auntie Weiss, not literally an ant, but you know.
Yeah.
Auntie Weiss would like be an inspiration for her and kind of, you know, she would learn a bit by watching Weiss instead of just copying her parents like how her sister would. So yeah, inspiration from both Oscar's fighting style and Weiss's fighting style go into Spring.
And that's fun, the Weiss influences, because of her design is also somewhat evocative of Weiss's.
Next is the P in Aspen. His name is I'm probably gonna pronounce this wrong. It's a French word. Purpuro?
Look at him. And you know what? Name pronunciation? Whatever, because Weiss should be Vice.
You're right.
So, like, whatever.
Purpuro is Schnee, by the way. Purpuro Schnee. Purpuro is I think it's French for a shade of purple. And for a second, I thought that was a stupid name. Every name is stupid until you just go with it, and then people accept it. He is a Schnee, and I was really excited. You'll also notice he's a Faunus. Oh, how exciting! He's a lion Faunus. I'll talk about their fairy tales in a sec. But yeah, because, you know, Marrow's a Faunus, and so passing down that genetics, Purpuro here, is the new heir to the Schnee line. He will be taking over the Schnee Dust Company. I did not illustrate his weapon because, like I said, I am bad at drawing weapons. But he's got like a lance. It's pretty similar to Pyrrha's lance. Just think of that. The gimmick is, you'll notice he's got these purple gemstones on him. He uses gravity dust, so it's a lot of like throwing the lance and having it come back to him.
That's
so
cool.
He doesn't lose his weapon. Yeah. So I love his design. That's really cool. And now for the one I struggled with the most. So this is Naga Xiaolong.
Oh, so pretty.
Yeah. What I did first was I just gave her Yang's hair, but black. Because that was what I wanted. I wanted her to look like a recolored version of her mom, just like how Yang is a recolored version of her mom. But the problem is, then she just looked like a recolored Yang, / she looked like Raven. And and I hated that. So then I had to completely rework her design. And I landed on this two-toned cool hair dealio. This is Naga.
I
Really
love that
exciting.
name, and she looks great. I think you nailed it.
Thank you. And I know what you might be thinking. Golly, twins, it sure is asinine that you've only illustrated one weapon. And it's one you've already illustrated before. Well, surprise, bitch! Naga is wearing her weapon right now!
Oh.
It's that bracer on her left hand and the ribbon around her waist. Basically, she fights like Bumblebee. Like, she's got a ribbon, and she can punch you. Like, you know, the Bumblebee team attack.
Yeah.
That's just how she fights.
Okay, that's fun.
The pair-ups, by the way, in case you care about that, like how I do. Spring is partnered with Purpuro, and Aspen is partnered with Naga.
Nice.
Yeah. So now to let you all know what their stories are. So Aspen is based on Toto from The Wizard of Oz.
Fuck
because, and I'm gonna reveal that we all went with this idea.
Yes.
Because what a big element in the original conversation that started this was we were all upset that Toto was not going to be the headmaster for Vacuo, because Theodore, the stupid Dumbo, exists, and we were all very upset about it. So we were like, fine, I'll do my own Toto with blackjack and hookers. So Aspen is Toto. Spring is... Oh, what is she? Oh, she's the princess and the pea. the idea starts and ends with her color palette.
Maybe she has trouble sleeping or something. I'm coming up with
Yeah,
headcanons
I
for
like
your
that.
character already.
You could work with it. She's as much a reference to her character origin as Blake is a reference to Beauty and the Beast. Purpuro is the lion who gets a thorn stuck in his paw, and then a mouse like gets the thorn out for him. You know that story?
Yes.
And then Naga is Alice from Alice in Wonderland.
Oh!
She doesn't look very, very traditionally like how Alice usually does. But I don't give a fuck.
I like how, even though she doesn't look like the traditional Alice in Wonderland, whether intentionally or not, you did pull from, like, the colors of her dress for her accent color.
Exactly!
Yeah.
And now time for a little bonus doodles of all of their semblances.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're gonna actually go in reverse order as long as I've done this properly. So starting with Naga. So Naga's semblance is very similar to Yang's, admittedly, except it actually functions in a way that considers all of the fucking rules of the show, i.e., it's not this question of, wait, how does aura affect it? So it's Yang's, but it actually works. So to explain it, as long as Naga has aura, her defense is at 100. She can tank huge hits, and it's very difficult to damage her. Once her aura breaks, she becomes a glass cannon. Her attack maxes out, so she can basically body anything she wants. The problem is, once that happens, she is completely vulnerable. Her defense is at 0, and so once her aura breaks, it now becomes a game of, like, cool, now I can kill anyone I want, but I'm susceptible to damage from tripping too hard, you know? And so it becomes, a strategy of how should I keep my defense at 100, but with a weaker attack, or do I make myself vulnerable to be able to hit harder, you know?
Nice.
It's not just, sometimes her hair glows and she wins. So next is, Purpuro. So, basically, his semblance is, what's the monk's name from Inuyasha?
Moroku.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's Moroku.
I see
It's
you.
also-
I see you.
It's also very similar to Fiona's semblance, in that he can absorb, like, an attack into his hand and then shoot it back out when he wants. He can only hold one thing at a time, though, so he can't just sit there and take in a billion trillion bullets. If he absorbs a bullet, he has to then get rid of it if he wants to absorb something else. I got this idea. I wasn't explicitly thinking to just copy Moroku or
Moroku,
Fiona.
yeah.
It might be.
It's okay.
But rather, I was like, what would his semblance be? I don't know. And then I figured to roll with the lion with a thorn in his paw idea.
Oh, that's so
absorb the thorn.
good.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. That's great.
Next is Spring. So despite Spring not wanting to emulate her parents, Spring has adopted a semblance very similar to Ruby's Petal Burst. It's not exactly the same. It's more of a teleport. Kind of think of it like Nightcrawler in the X-Men movies. Like how he'll like poof and poof,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah. So it's basically like that, except they look like cute little leaves instead of petals.
In this
yeah.
picture, she's literally doing a teleport behind you nothing personnel kid.
If you pay attention, you'll notice he's saying boo-hoo. So now, you may have noticed none of the kids are silver-eyed warriors for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that on purpose because I felt like it's a boring Deus Ex Machina, and I didn't want to copy that idea. That's just a personal opinion. However, Aspen does have special eyes in a way. Her semblance allows her to see the way Grimm see. So yeah, almost like an antithesis to Silver Eyes, she can see the negative emotions that prompt Grimm to show up, and she can perhaps develop this ability to the point that she can even be able to communicate with Grimm. Yeah.
So
Uh,
good. Yes.
The basic plot for this I came up with would be that it's a little sad. Oscar dies. So damn, two of the kids' dad is dead. These kids' mission would be to find the new Ozma reincarnation, assuming that's how the series ends. I don't know. A part of me thinks that the reincarnation will just stop with Oscar, like they'll save the day and he won't do that anymore.
I'm kind of thinking
But
the same.
But pretending that doesn't happen for some reason, I don't fucking know. This is what their mission is to find new Oscar, basically.
Nailed it.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm real proud of them. Yeah, that's my team.
Nice. They're so good.
Yeah.
I love them.
Alright, that's enough of my stanky artwork. Who's next? Okay, anyway.
Look at them! Wow!
Look at all this hair.
I'm so excited to see them.
I had a team name, and there was a reason they were in this order, but I don't remember what it was. It wasn't a good one.
Maybe while we're on the go, you'll remember it.
Maybe I have it written down somewhere.
Ah! Oh my gosh. Okay, quick aside. These guys look like Rune Factory characters.
That's not a bad thing.
Well, that's a good thing. I love Rune Factory. Oh my gosh. They look so cute.
So the first girl is she is the daughter of Weiss and Jean.
Oh my gosh.
And
That's so cute.
she was the one who was like, oh man, if I put Weiss with Neptune, I could have given her like tan skin. The two bunny-eared girls are twins who've been adopted by Blake and Yang.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
And the last one is the daughter of RWBY and Oscar.
She's so cute.
Let's start with Diana Bella Long, which is what their married name is. See, this is Diana.
Oh my goodness. I love her.
She is based off of the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland.
Nice.
And here's some this is her detail stuff. She has a gun that she calls the Timepiece, and it's a 12-shooter Colt Peacemaker, which is why she calls it that.
Nice. Good name.
Yeah. The 12 different bullets is different, like, elemental dust.
Nice.
Are there 12 different elements?
No, she would probably have to repeat something. Or they would invent new elements. I don't know. She has glyphs, and when her glyphs do is they reset 5 seconds. So she can... It's basically like Byleth from Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Okay.
Where she can go back in time, like, but only 5 seconds.
You designed the glyph and everything? That's too
I did.
So extra.
I wanted...
Spoiler alert, I definitely did not do that.
Her shield is also called Second Hand. She has a big clock theme.
That's so good. Wow.
That's adorable.
Diana is very, like, she's somewhat resentful of the world because, you know, her and her sister were abandoned. Her twin sister, they were abandoned, and rather than be, like, grateful to Yang and Blake for adopting her, she sees the world as, like she's kind of bitter, and she actually thinks very little of Blake for abandoning her cause for faunus rights to just hook up with some human girl, and Diana would end up being our main antagonist.
That's for fun!
Faunus revolution.
I didn't expect for the team to be split apart immediately.
Next is Jade Pine.
Look at Jade!
Did you also? Did you also go with her being Toto? Was that? Okay.
I did. That's why she has like these shoes, these like Gira ass like
Oh
paw
my
shoes.
goodness. Little paws.
You also like she's a silver-eyed warrior.
Oh.
Look at that.
Ooh, nice, nice.
So, all right. Let's start with her weapon. She has two like saw-like blades, which is called Fang and Maw. Fang and Maw, they may look the same, but they're not. So they can like click together to become giant scissors.
Oh my gosh. She's a scissorman.
And Fang, actually, if you look, you can see right there's a little trigger, because Fang can also fire a shotgun spray, because Jade is a big, scaredy coward. She doesn't feel like she could ever live up to the grandiose legacy her parents, Ruby and Oscar, have left behind. And
It's quite a bit to live up to.
and she's never been that strong. She decided to not go with a cape because capes were a bit like eye-catching and people looked at her too much. But to still stay true to that like vibe, she went with a really long coat instead.
Nice.
And her semblance is called Escape, and it makes her so she can run through walls. And she does that because Toto kept escaping, and that's why the neighbor was all pissed off, and he escaped her bike ride later at the beginning of the movie.
That's super funny.
Posey is her fairy tale is Rapunzel.
Nice.
And I really struggled to get a name that felt like Rapunzel and was also a color.
You did a great job. That rules.
She would be the leader of the team.
Oh, the drama. Weiss never got to be the leader of her team.
I wanted to like do a good blend of Jean's like bumpkin vibe and Weiss's regal armor vibe.
I think you nailed it. It looks so good. I'm so into the like normal clothes but spiced up with fantasy idea. Very, very Jean-like. And yeah, you did great. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it definitely
blatantly my favorite.
It definitely reads as Jean's kid, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's why her hair is so, like, it's a light blonde, because it's Jean's blonde, but with some of Weiss's white mixed in there. Since she is a Schnee, she would have Schnee glyphs, and her main summon would be a giant Nevermore, which she would ride around on.
Nice.
She has this sword. It's called the Tower, and so what it is, it's a long sword. But these rivets in the middle can collapse, so it looks like it can become like a dagger.
Oh.
And because her mother insisted, there's also like glyphs in the hilt, and it can like shoot like Legend of Zelda ass lasers.
Nice.
A very fun, like, kind of like altering of Jean's greatsword idea. You know?
Yeah, because I didn't want to just mimic. I wanted her to have a sword because both her parents have swords, but I'm like, I don't want it to be just like a broadsword like his or a rapier like hers. It has to be her own thing. This is Tazzy Bella Long, and she's my favorite.
She's super fun.
And she is the March Hare from Alice in Wonderland.
Nice.
Very cool.
I wanted her hair to look kind of similar to Yang's, but I didn't want her to look exactly like Yang, so I made it short because more curly, short-haired people should be in the show.
Yes.
Says #1 Nora fan.
Tazzy has a lot going on. She has a chain, it's like a mace at the end of a very long chain. The spikes can retract in and then can pop out bombs from where the spikes used to be.
Oh.
And she's very destructive. And it works because her semblance is called Bunny Hop, and it gives her just a really super jump, so she doesn't have to be strong enough to wield her chain whip. She can just use her jumping momentum to pull it along with her.
Nice.
Her chain whip is called Kettle, and her bombs are called Teacups.
That's cute.
Is she also evil? Like her sister?
No, she's
Okay.
good. But she's so loyal to her sister, she would struggle to know what side she's supposed to. Because she, like, loves Blake and Yang. She adores them so much and thinks the world of them. But she's so loyal to her sister. And you'll see that she actually has a big old tattoo on her arm, and I wanted to, like, detail what her tattoo looks like. And it's the story of her and her sister.
Aww.
And,
That's adorable.
Aww.
I like her silhouette the most.
And that's my team. If I remember what it is, I'll text you later. I used arc for Posey. I remember that because there were no like vowels. Adept. I remember. It was adept.
Nice. You know what? Hey. Whatever.
We gave up on that gimmick a long time ago. And that's my team, guys.
Very
Ooh,
fun.
I love
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
They're very cute. Did you, aside from one of the sisters being the bad guy, were there any other like narrative plot beats about your story that you wanted to?
Not really. Nothing that I didn't already mention.
Well, they're great, and I love
Yeah.
them.
I do too.
Okay, here's my kids. Here they are.
Wow.
This reminds me of like Persona or like The World Ends With You. This is an amazing
yeah.
style.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Allison doesn't work in color very often, so it's always really exciting to see what she does when she does.
This was the first project I've ever worked on with Clip Studio Paint, and I enjoyed it so much. It's so much better than what I used to use. It made everything so much easier. Big recommendation of Clip Studio Paint from me as someone who has very little experience with digital art. So yeah, I didn't think to do the cool silhouettes thing that you guys did, because I don't know, it just went over my head. And also, because I'm so bad at this, I didn't think of team name at all. I just made characters and I just named them. I didn't. So it's basically like real-time Ozpin hours where you have to like the characters weren't made. Yeah, the characters weren't made with the idea of having them be a team. They just fall in your lap and you just have to come up with a team name for them on the
I'm excited to see if I come up with a team name. Well, I'm pretty bad at team names.
So, on the left, we have Toto. So this is Toto Rose Pine. Actually, no, I just went with Toto Rose
Nice.
for her last name. Because let's be real, Ruby is the important one in the relationship. So
Exactly.
so Oscar took her last name. And she's a little jock girl. She has trouble living up to her parents' grand expectations and their big legacy. She's very much the just let him be a DJ type character. She doesn't really know if she even wants to be a huntress. She kind of just likes sports. But she had to go to the academy because of family pressure. So she's struggling with living up to that.
I am all about those pigtails.
Yes. I wanted it because dog ears.
Oh, that's
Pretty long to be dog ears.
I know, but I also wanted her to have considerably longer hair than Ruby. Something that I really tried to roll with for this whole team is I didn't want to rehash any old stories, and I kind of tried to convey that in character design as well. So no one has their parents' burdens. So no Silver Eyes. There are Faunus characters, but we're not going to be dealing with Faunus rights. It's everyone has their own story, basically. So just wanted to set them apart from their parents. That's why Toto isn't wearing a cape. But she does have the little varsity style red hood just to kind of evoke that.
She's adorable. I love her.
And then moving on, we have next to her.
The coolest. Look at how cool she
Yeah.
looks.
She's so tall.
So she is based off of Ariel from The Little Mermaid. She is Aria Belladonna Xiaolong. So she is selectively mute. She is adopted. She was adopted. Blake and Yang took a trip to Vacuo, and they met a little orphan girl. And she was like in her preteens at the time, so she hasn't spent her whole life being raised by these two. So she still has the baggage from the troubled childhood of living on the streets. But she's slowly coming out of her shell. She feels comfortable talking and even sometimes singing, because she loves to sing. She's just very, very shy about it. She feels comfortable doing that around her mothers, but she has yet to open up to the extent where she can do that around her team. So most of the time she just chooses not to speak.
With her hair like this and that color, I get a little bit of like Fluttershy vibes from her.
You know, that's funny. Twins said the same thing when you saw my sketch.
Yeah, people who watched My Little Pony, if any of us see long hair covering one eye, and if it's in any way similar to pink, it's
Yep.
what we think.
What color is this? What's her color?
Coral.
Is it pink?
It's coral.
Coral. Oh, that
Yeah.
cause of the ocean. I get it.
So next up we have Melody Amenschnee. And so the two sisters that we have last here are I really struggled to figure out who the mom was gonna be, because like twins, I struggle to really think of Weiss in a relationship with anyone. So
No.
I kind of, well, the show could still convince me. I don't ship her with anyone personally. Not that I super ship these two, but Winter and Marrow. I picked Winter and Marrow for their parents. So, all right. So here we have Melody Amenschnee. So she is based off of Sleeping Beauty. She's super cute. She's sleepy. She is the younger sister of the two. And yeah, she just wants to chill.
She does look sleepy. I want to hug her.
I like how comfy she looks.
Yeah.
And then we have her older sister, who is based off of the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. And she is Luna Amenschnee.
Ooh, Luna.
And that was because I really wanted to name her Usagi, but I didn't blatantly want to steal from Sailor Moon, so I went with Luna instead. Okay, so the main reason why I drew, because I didn't draw everyone fully again for this section, but I drew Toto again here because mostly I wanted to show that she holds her weapon lefty style. She's a lefty.
Aw,
like RWBY
cute.
was. I don't know if RWBY's still canonically considered a lefty, but
Is
I really
anything
wanted
truly
Toto to be.
canon anymore?
It can change in an instant.
All right, so her aura color is red. Her semblance is 0G, and funnily enough, I picked her semblance based the same way off of Critter picking her semblance, which is Toto's ability to escape constantly in The Wizard of Oz. But I just went a different way of it, where she can just any surface, whatever. That's the floor. Fuck you.
Oh, that's fun. I like that.
That is cool, yeah.
Her weapon is a bat called Whack-A-Mole, a play off of Whack-A-Mole.
I think he's cute.
And she keeps these little, I guess we'll call them baseballs, in her bag, and they're very small, and you click them like a Pokeball, and they expand. And then after they're expanded, the only thing that can activate them is contact with the bat. And then after that, they explode, and they can be charged with whatever kind of dust she wants. Right.
I'm sorry, I was looking at the person in the window.
Oh. And by the way, I just wanted to point out that they signed the in the top left. Those are their signatures.
Okay,
Aw, that's cute. That's fun.
So her aura color is coral, and her semblance is called Hoarder. And it's basically it's a pocket dimension. It looks like a little whirlpool. And she can put stuff in there. Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? She can hide in there. People can hide in there. So it's a very handy little space for holding things or hiding if need be. Her weapon is called the Lodestar, which is a star that when sailors are sailing, they use it to guide them.
Ooh.
That's so cool.
And
I really like this action pose that's going on here.
All that hair.
Yeah.
It's supposed to kind of evoke a trident, and so normally she uses it as like a physical weapon, but it is an Elysian weapon, so it has lasers in it. Whatever kind of dust that is, I don't know, laser dust.
Yeah.
And so there's a little trigger at the bottom there, and that activates laser mode. That kind of awkward looking sticking out branch unravels to become the stand, and then the rest of the prongs open up like a little flower, and then laser beam.
Ooh, that sounds so cool.
So she's kind of the heavy of the team, because most of the other team members are like distance attackers, so she's the only one who's like really good and competent with up close. Toto's okay because she has her little bat, but the bat is more meant for like activating the baseballs.
Mm-hmm. Which is amazing because like she seems kind of wispy, so her being the tank is really fun.
No, she's super buff. So next up for Melody, you might not have noticed because she looks very human, but she is a dog faunus, and she has little sharp twofers, and that's her faunus trait. Her aura color is pink, and her semblance is the Shneeze stuff, all that good stuff. She doesn't use her semblance too often. She's more of a evasive attacker, so she doesn't usually spend her time summoning. She does use the glyphs quite a lot, though.
Nice.
Cool.
And
glyphs are fun.
Since she is Sleeping Beauty, her weapon is throwing needles. And it's called Sleep Aid. So the reason why, aside from the fact that it's very comfy, the reason why she has a lot of baggy clothes is because she can hide the needles in them. And she hides the needles like everywhere. Like they line her sleeves, they line her pockets. She'll stick them in weird places. So that's kind of her thing.
Very cool.
I like that. Like basically like an endless supply of just like needle stuff.
Yes.
And then if she runs out, you never have to be like, well, why didn't she have more? Well, you never know how many she has to begin with.
Exactly. And for Luna.
Ooh.
Luna, look at Luna with her extra fancy signature.
So Luna is based kind of how Weiss used to fight like a bit of a ballerina. Luna is based off of a figure skater. And so her weapon are her ice skates, and since she is a white rabbit, they're called Vorpal blades.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yes, yes.
By the way, she is a bunny faunus. Mero's grandma is the March Hare. Source is Dude, Trust Me. So yeah, I wanted her to be an ice skater because as the white rabbit, I didn't want her to have just straight up Ruby's semblance, but I always wanted her to be in motion. Yeah, no, I just didn't want to double up basically on power, and also she already has her semblance, so yeah, it's ice skates. And you know how figure skaters are like, when you watch them perform, they're constantly like going in a circle.
Yeah.
That's the kind of combat motion I wanted for her, where she's always moving. And she uses her semblance most often to summon a little armor guy, and that's her her figure
Like
skater
her
partner.
skating partner!
Oh! Yeah. The Vorpal blades were the blade part was made with dust forged with it, so.
Nice.
That's the explanation for why they can do the stuff they can do.
I like
Alright,
how we didn't like plan together, but I like how we all made separate pieces of them, like in black and white, of them doing their weapon thing.
Yeah, it felt important because you just have to see the breakdown of some of these things. Like, just looking at this, you can't really understand the mechanics.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
everyone.
Yeah.
To give a quick plot overview for what these characters go through. So this squad is a crew of nasty troublemakers, of big delinquents, and not all of it is intentional, but these guys butt heads every day with Professor Goodwitch, assuming that she's still alive at the end of the series. She Headmaster Goodwitch.
Nice.
So Toto doesn't want to be there. Arya is apathetic about everything. Melody falls asleep constantly, and Luna has attention issues, so she wants to do well, but she'll like forget her homework and stuff. So these guys are in detention constantly.
That's so cute.
And so Professor Goodwitch gives them an ultimatum of, you cannot get in trouble for 1 month, just 1 month. And if you do get in trouble again, you guys are out. You're getting kicked out. And even though some of them have their issues with being in the school, they don't want to let their parents down, so they don't want to get kicked out. But one night when they were breaking curfew,
Breaking the rules.
yes. Well, they thought it'd be okay as long as they didn't get caught. But as they're breaking curfew, they discover something. Someone who everyone thought dead, Torchwick, is up to no good. He's out making trouble in the neighborhood. Oh no! He's alive again, and he's coming up with schemes to steal dust. And they gotta stop him, but they were out past curfew. What do they do? So it's basically them sneaking out. They can't get teachers involved because they'll get in trouble. And shenanigans of them trying to stop Torchwick. It's very Volume 1 vibes.
I love that.
of the loser squad trying to stop Torchwick and his evil schemes.
I can so easily see a scenario where, like, one of these girls yells, "Run!" they all start booking it to try to avoid, like, the danger.
Together, TAML combined to become Team Tamale.
It might end up being Tamale.
You know what? Hello, Team Tamale.
There we have it.
Yeah,
Hey!
Yeah.
that was fun.
What did you guys think of doing this project?
I liked how we all had similar ideas, but executed them in completely different ways.
Yeah.
Our Totos, which was the one consistent thing across the board, was all of Ruby's daughters was Toto for us, and I think it's really interesting how differently they all came out.
Yeah, that is fun because it's the same ship baby.
Yeah.
But just and the same fairy tale inspiration even, but they're just so completely wildly different. That's super fun.
Yeah.
From every single aspect, like color, personality, literally everything.
Absolutely. I also think it's interesting that all of us went down the path of there are a pair of twins on the team instead of not having that and then have to include another child somehow, you know, like
Yeah, so like ship, like rather than doing Bumblebee, have Blake and Yang have separate people and then have them have separate kids.
or like, you know, you ship like Weiss and Jean, and then you have Ruby and and Oscar, and then you got Bumblebee, but you didn't want to give anyone twins, so then you have to be like, Ren and Nora kid, or, you know, like, none of us went that route. We all opted for twins instead.
Joke's on you. Mine actually weren't twins. Melanie.
They wouldn't be on the same team then.
Well,
they'd be a year apart.
Months younger, not a full year. But it doesn't really matter. Siblings either way.
Yeah.
I like how we all, even if this also was not like an aspect of the challenge, but we all came up with a story that would accompany the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's almost impossible not to. You know,
Yeah.
even if it... So often the story you come up with will affect character design, but even when you're just making up a character, you can't help but to be like, what would they do?
It's great. I love seeing the different, like, semblances and weapons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it reminded me of back, like in Volume 1, I was always super jazzed to see a new character, just because I couldn't wait to see what their semblance and or weapon was gonna be.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And nowadays, it's just like, oh, look, a new character. What's their semblance? They sneeze real good. Alright.
They sneeze real good.
What's this person's weapon? Another just gun.
Another just a sword. And what's their semblance? Their hand glows and does nothing.
Something that's gonna be relevant for one scene in episode like 7, and then that's it.
Did you guys have fun?
Hell yeah.
Great time.
Yeah. Also, time to address the audience directly. I would be delighted to see fan art of any of these kids that we've drawn.
Yeah.
100% yes.
If you make fan art, please tweet them at me or Critter or Allison. We all have Twitters. If you do not have a Twitter, I don't know, send me a link. I want to see them. I will cherish and treasure them all.
Yes, 100%. All the time.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just spent a whole bunch of time looking at artwork, and I spent way longer time figuring out how to edit this video.
And we all spent like days designing and drawing and coloring these characters.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Embarrassing
Yeah,
amounts of time.
I think I presented this, like, challenge 3 months ago.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
That's fine. We were busy.
It was fun. I had a great time.
Yeah.
It gave me time to like, really, it's nice just coming up with a character every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. The video's ending now.
See ya.
Bye.
Do you have anything you want to say?
Y'all are cute.
Nice face over there, guys.
Alright. Alright, adios.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Okay.
Hope that works.
It is funny how it always sounds like 3 different clap times.
Well, the problem is, I think I can hear IRL Allison across the apartment
I closed
clapping after me.
my door.
My door is also closed.
My
So I don't
door's
know, maybe
open.
that was just...
Should I close mine?
Okay, so, I don't really have an intro planned, so I'm gonna kind of just vaguely introduce this concept.
Cool.
Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Video audio actually starts now.